better like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Breaking news. You know, what's going on in Kenya has to be told around the world. But guess what? We are the BLACKGEO. We've been plugged into Nairobi, Kenya for the last 7 years. I want to say, I pray for everybody in Kenya for safety. A lot of my company, my business, everybody is pretty much Kenyan, okay? Shout out to the comic book community, shout out to Kikuyus, shout out to the lawyers who actually brought me to Kenya, all right? So I want to say to the YouTubers, to the influencers who's covering this situation, we're not going to disrespect you. We just want you, please go down and spend time in these cities. If you see those streets and you go back to our videos, yes, we spent a lot of time in CBD. We spent a lot of time in Mombasa. We spent a lot of time in Kibera. We actually have an office in Kibera. We work with a lot of people on these streets. So we show a lot of love to the country of Kenya. But to people who's covering this, who don't spend time in this country, who just see videos of people just running down the street, they don't know the deep history perspective of this. And we want to tell you that we have correspondents in Mombasa, in CBD, in Kibera, you know, in these places that people have been dealing with these situations for over a decade, okay? This is not something new. I'm a kid from Liberia. Liberia and Kenya, we've been had a bilateral agreement since 1969. So a lot of our problems is very similar, very similar. And if you see my videos recently, go back to the chaotic city, to Nairobi, with Ndisi and Ndoya, you'll see us on the streets. It's a precursor to what's going on in CBD right now and across Kenya. But I want to read an article. I came across a few articles. Shout out to the Cable NG, all right? It's an African-based newspaper. I just want to read a little bit of the newspaper. We're going to read it together, BLACKGEO, all right? So it says, what started as a social media campaign in Kenya soon morphed into a week-long violent protest that has led to fatalities and the torching of government buildings, okay? And like we said, you read and you believe what you want to believe, but guess what? We people who there, and we're not going to say it was every building, but you know, we're going to read what the news article had to say. And like we say, we have actual footage from the streets, from our correspondents that I will be showing you, all right? It says protests have vowed not to back down even after Kenyan President William Ruto withdrew his assent to controversial finance bill on Wednesday. The bone of contention has been a bill to raise taxes across board, otherwise called the Finance Bill 2024. All right, this, like I said, I got friends who've been telling me about this bill for the last 2 or 3 years. Friends who work 10, 12-hour shifts, real jobs, okay? Doctors, you know, military, IT, and in other countries, they will be making over 100 US, at least 100 USD. But you know, in Africa, we don't get fair wages. I'm from Liberia. Trust me, I know that. Okay, and my Liberian people know what I'm talking about. We're still dealing with these problems to this day. So in Kenya, a finance bill is usually presented to Parliament before the start of a financial year that runs from July to June, laying out the government's fiscal plans. The bill aims to generate an additional 2.7 billion in taxes. The government says the bill is meant to plug Kenya's ballooning budget deficit and reduce reliance on borrowing. And that's what's going on in Africa. We're borrowing too much. Why do you think the Chinese and Indians live better than us in the whole of Africa? We borrow. And when we borrow, the interest that they give us, we can't pay back. Do you know that? Yeah, they should have been told you that. So, you know, when we're bragging about other cultures in our land, we don't live the same life when we go to their country, but when they come to our country, they live in 10 times better. And trust me, I see that. I'm a person who spent time all across Africa, north, east, south, and west, and across the world. All right? So it says currently Kenya's public debt stands at 68% of GDP, significantly higher than the 55% recommended by the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. And that's how much you can money you can take out, you know, for building your country. But we're taking too much, with too much interest that we're taking out. We're not garnishing, making money in our countries that we don't need other people's money. And guess what? Other countries, they're not going to even let us do it because we have too much riches in our continent. And that's why the BLACKGEO will be telling us black people in America and diaspora, we the ones who got to go invest to Africa, so Africa don't got to go to China for money. They don't got to go nowhere. We the ones supposed to be the loan sharks. The loan sharks are the blacks here in America. blacks in Jamaica, the blacks in the islands. We are the loan sharks to Africa, not the Chinese people. And that's what you think the Black GOs. We invest in Africa, we invest in our people, okay? Ask about us. So another thing it says, the situation is so dire that the country has turned to the IMF for help, which has made raising revenue a precondition for further assistance. That's the problem. We don't have brother-to-brother help. All right, we have bilateral agreements, but we don't teach each other history. If the people in the country knew that you had a brother country, Liberia knew you had a brother country like Kenya, that you're supposed to be sharing information, sharing people like the Liberians in Kenya, helping out Kenya. Yeah, we should know that. It'll bring a lot of us over there. It'll be an African New Year, just like the Chinese New Year. We need an African New Year where there's hella Africans from all over the world return to Africa, Africans from the continent go across the world. We need that, man. We need a whole new brain shake-up on the continent, people. All right? It says, but Kenyans are worried. They fear the tax hikes in the proposed bill could cripple an already weakened economy and worsen the hardship for over 7.8 million Kenyans living in extreme poverty. And like what I told a lot of content creators who are actually coming up, you know, and putting content out about this, come to the Black GOs. We're people who got boots on the ground in these neighborhoods, have boots on the ground in these neighborhoods over years. All right, we really speak with the people. We put fiscal, financial, monetary funds in foundations for people in these neighborhoods, for kids. Yes, so we have reasons for being in these situations, but we're not in these politics, okay? We're here to bring Africa together. We are a Pan-Africanist group. Alright? It says, while finance bills in Kenya have faced opposition before, the intensity and scale of the current protests are unprecedented. I'm sorry, Black GO. It's a hard word to say, but you know what that means. It's a boiling point, okay? Don't think that what you see in the streets is just started up. It's a whole generation who's been dealing with this, all right? And not just in Kenya, Africa, whole generations. And like I said, I always say to my friends, we live in these extravagant countries in Africa that have so much riches and gold. And while we the poorest people, it doesn't make no sense. And so the government has dropped some of the contentious proposals, but protests want the entire bill scrapped. They want the whole thing done. But the government is trying to wonder why, if we scrap the bill, how can this country make money? Because we're not making enough money to, you know, to build our economy without going and taking loans. Part of the initial proposal sought to introduce a 60% sale tax on bread and a 20% duty on cooking oil. All right. There was also a planned increase in the tax on financial transactions, as well as a new annual tax on vehicle ownership amounted to 2.5% of the value of the vehicle. Now, that's why I said you gotta be a person who spend time in this country. Yo, when you pay for anything, people would rather you pay for it in cash or in Pesa. And you know, they know in Pesa, they know what I'm talking about. They don't want no credit card transactions. It takes too much money and they tax them too much, all right? Everything is taxed in this country. They just built a new highway, it's taxed. Vehicle is taxed. Kenya is pretty much like a first world country, right? But it's going through the same thing US people are going through. All right, you raise it, your inflation. Everything is getting inflated around the world, and it don't matter if you're in the US to Liberia to Kenya, majority of people can't live in these countries. All right. So I said another thing. It says another key provision of the bill is a charge on products dubbed the eco levy. The tax targets most manufactured goods, including sanitary towels and diapers that contribute to waste and harm the environment. And that's what we're doing now. We're spending too much money, but we don't have anywhere to throw waste. Check out my videos in Kibera. Check out my videos around the world. You'll see a lot of our waste just thrown in our neighborhoods. All right? Some of us are forgotten in these neighborhoods. So it says, outcry, the government said the levy would only apply to imported products. The eco levy was also aimed to digital products, including mobile phones, cameras, and recording equipment. This was also met with stiff resistance as citizens pointed out the reliance on these products for their livelihoods. Did I just say that? This phone right here, everybody in Kenya know what I'm talking about. All their money is pretty much on M-Pesa if they don't want to spend all their money in their bank accounts. All right, your phone makes all your money nowadays. And if you're gonna tax apps and different things, I make money from my phone, and I'm already not making that much. What can I do? All right, and this is Africa, people. It's not in Europe and America where you think you just go get 2-3 extra jobs. This is a country where I know friends. They tell me, I be telling them like, oh, why don't you try to get a job here? There, you gotta know somebody to know somebody. All right, things don't work easy in every country. But like we said, the BLACKGEO, when people in the office hear this, we are Pan-Africanist group. If you come see our group, we have probably your person in your tribe in my company, because I tell people who come in my company first, we represent the whole Africa. We don't just represent Kenya, we don't just represent Liberia, we represent the mother Africa. So we want Kenya to succeed. We want this to Ruto and the people to find a way to fairly get this generation, a fair chance, okay? Because people around the world who's covering this, who don't know about Africans, yes, each of those people you see in the streets, each of them got to take care of about 2 or 3 families, not only their own. All right, it's something called a black tax that we have as Africans. Even myself, I got whole families, not only in Kenya I help take care of, but in Liberia also, that we have to take care of. No matter what we going through, no matter if we getting taxed, yeah, the government taxing me also, crazy. And guess what, no matter if I'm getting taxed or not, I got families to take care of, people, kids out there. And some people around this world who covering this situation, all y'all had to do was take care of yourself, you know? And I'm not gonna call y'all selfish, but y'all don't have that type of culture that we have as Africans. So when you see us running the streets, fighting about government taking our money extra, it's not just a one-day thing. We've been dealing with this our whole life, all right? And I'm Liberian. Go look up our history, all right? What you think we came to this country with money? We ain't come here with that much. So, and what's going on in Kenya, it touches me because I got real families I take care of over there, real families who work with me. And guess what? We got a special edition coming up, and I'll show you a video, sneak peek, what's coming up in that city of Mombasa. We're gonna keep reading this article. It says the finance bill introduces a 60% tax on goods and services for direct and exclusive use in the construction and equipping of specialized hospitals with a minimum bed capacity of 50. Kenyans worry that this could mean a higher health cost. See, I told you. And I know people, it costs a lot of money just to get a checkup at the hospital, people, especially in Africa. It said the bill also proposes an increase in import taxes from 2.5% to 3% of the value of the item to be paid by the importer. All right? So you're spending more money if you're buying items from overseas and you're trying to import it, you can buy it for $2. It's gonna cost you about $100 just to get that over here. That's what he's saying. So it's ridiculous about what's going on. These are not just new things, people. You're spending more money for shipping something over here. All right? But guess what? When we're shipping something out from Kenya or Africa, we don't get the same compensation. That's exactly what they're dealing with too. All right? So it says, while our protesters angry despite amendments, okay, it says the discount runs beyond the bill. I'm sorry, the discontent runs beyond the bill, and I'm sorry, BLACKGEO, I told you I was dealing with removal of wisdom teeth, all right? But it said the discontent runs beyond the bill. This is more about a simmering frustration that has boiled over. Kenyans are fuming over a government they feel has been ignoring their plight for decades. I told you, this is something that's been going on for years, okay? That's why we're gonna give you exclusive videos, exclusive stories from the people of Kenya, okay? The BLACKGEO has nothing to do with which side. We're about bringing people together, but we have people who've been dealing with this situation their whole life. So they're gonna tell their story about what's really going on in Kenya, because Kenya represents the whole Africa. That's why I said the BLACKGEO loves Kenya. So what's going on in Kenya, we have to cover it. And we've been driving commerce in Kenya for the last 7 years, all right? So it says Kenyans are fuming over a government they feel has been ignoring their plight for decades. Ruto's attempt to justify the tax hikes by comparing them to what obtains in other African countries has fallen on deaf ears. Exactly. The same thing is going on in Kenya, it's been going on in other African countries, you know? And it's a new generation that's coming up that's hungry, you know? It's all about opportunity, hunger, and freedom in your own nation too. And then it's so much people from other countries moving to Kenya, moving to you know, Uganda, Liberia, and I see it my own self as a person who's on the continent. They're living better than us, and when I'm working with my own people, trust me, I tell them I want you to live better on your continent than even me. All right? And it's a shame. We as and people and you know, when we get this power, we should want our people to live better than even ourselves as a leader. You know. So it says last year, a finance law that introduced several unpopular taxes also sparked a protest. So it's been going on since last year, too, people. I told you, we've been here for 7 years. And it's not my first time seeing protests in Kenya, all right, or across Africa. Ruto has also offered to engage leaders of the youth-led protests without saying when. So this is an ongoing thing. Don't think this is going to stop in Africa, but all across Africa. Us Africans who are down on the continent right now, and us Africans on the continent, come to the BLACKGEO. The BLACKGEO is one of the groups. It's not the only group. It's just one of the groups that's bringing a phone call that you can reach from the diaspora to the motherland. That's constantly on the motherland. We don't just go to the motherland once every 5 years. We're on the motherland every other week, pretty much. And if we're not there, we have correspondents who work closely with us. All right. And guess what? We work from afar also. So we have businesses that we work with connected to Kenya right now, and we're taking care of them. They're well taken care of while they're going, while Kenyans going through what they're going through. And on the BLACKGEO, I have a special edition video that's going on from our correspondents from Mombasa, because we have a special project coming up in Mombasa very, very soon. You will be seeing Shabi, all right? But guess what? We're not even going to tell you about what's that. We want to tell you about what's going on right now. And I'm handling the business from afar right now in New York City. But we want to tell all the people across the world who's covering this event, who is not in the streets like the BLACKGEO in CBD, go check out my chaotic video. Yes, we're in the streets all the time in CBD. We're in the streets all the time in Kibera. We're in the streets all the time in Mombasa. These are places we spend extensive time. So when I see people in the streets, stuff like that going on, it touches me because I was just there, or I'm on the way there, all right? So guess what? We're gonna give you real stories, real content, real views from the people who've been dealing with this their whole life. And just respect the content and respect the history of these countries. Do not just go on one video and say, oh, this just happened, and people just run it out wildly. These are people who are taking care of whole families, people, all right? People who speak multiple languages, people who want freedom, who want jobs, you know, and we just want to respect what's going on. And here at the BLACKGEO, we don't play politics. We just love to cover what's going on in places the right way. And so respect content, respect real views, and we'll see you soon. You never know where we might end up at. Let's go.
tunaongea mpaka dakika ya mwisho.
Withdraw unasemaje? Withdraw bill ulisemaje?
Hana uwezo wa ku-withdraw. Sisi tuko na akili, sisi sio wazazi wetu. Tunajua kusoma katiba na tumesoma, tunajua Ruto hana uwezo. Isenda assent ama arudishe kwa parliament. Asituchezee akili.
Maudako ambayo inaendelea hapa Mombasa. So keep tuned.